get started really quickly. My name is Tia Palomino. I'm the community organizer with the East New York Coalition for Community Advancement.
I'm Haley. I'm lead organizer for the East New York Coalition for Community Advancement. Haley. Nice to meet you.
So together, we work with the coalition, which is a group of neighbors and community members who have been fighting against displacement and for economic justice and equity in home ownership and affordability in East New York since 2014. And we do these kind of housing justice meetings to go over some of the campaigns and some of the big issues that we're seeing in the community and some of like the big developments that are happening. We'll kind of briefly go over some of the campaigns and some of the things that we're working on, and then we really want to focus the meeting to listen to a lot of concerns that you guys might have in terms of housing, things that we can kind of form as the year comes to an end, things that we can refocus on, issues that, you know, homeowners might be having, they need help with certain things that we can kind of, form new campaigns in the next year. So that's and then we'll also touch into this major development project that we've been talking about and organizing for in the past couple years, and it's taking a big turn, and we'd like to get a lot of community feedback and understand what you guys think about the process and everything like that.
So, if we turn to the page that says mature development proposal, this is the rendering that we have so far of a development that's going to come to the Broadway Junction area. You kind of see like the faint traces of where they're picturing the train tracks being, right? It's going to be 4 very large towers up to about 27 floors, and actually 21 to 26 floors, and it's going to be around the Broadway Junction area surrounding it, and it's going to consist of 440,000 square feet of commercial and office space, 114,000 square feet of retail space, so like businesses like Target and things like that would go under retail. Up to 1,000 residential units, 85,000 square feet of community space, and 25,000 square feet of open space.
So as you can imagine, we know what Broadway Junction looks like. That area is, gonna change very quickly with this proposal, with this development. And our stance as a community organization is, we're not against development, but we think a development of this size should have real benefits for the community. There should be affordability in the development so that community members can stay, can afford these, apartments that are gonna be built. We don't want, $3,000, $4,000 apartments in this area. We wanna make sure there's home ownership opportunities so that people can actually have equity in this community. We wanna make sure local businesses are prioritized if they're gonna have commercial spaces. We, wanna make sure there's like a school, like thinking about things like a school for the children that are gonna come in, making sure that the apartments are not only studios, but they're 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, 2-bedroom apartments so that they can, really have families moving in there from the community. So we've been, trying to push for these community benefits, and this has been a major campaign that we've been working on, and we've been, fighting back with the developer, telling them, what the community actually has been looking for, some of the concerns. A lot of them wanted more like healthcare or a school, like we mentioned, more larger apartments, not just studios. We wanted it under a certain AMI, meaning that like people actually, you can explain it a little bit better.
So the way that, essentially AMI is a simple way to say affordability levels. So East New York has a specific affordability level that it's currently at, right? So the median income of the neighborhood is around $45,000, $50,000. So we want apartment units that people who make that much can afford, so that the people who are making that much are kicked out by people who can afford more expensive apartments and that.
And we know a lot of you guys here are homeowners, and so, you know, that also affects, you know, property taxes, if the cost of living goes up, a lot of, you know, there's a lot of repercussions when a development this big comes. And a lot of the times, we as community members, we don't know that this is gonna happen. We one day just see building, and then before we know it, there's, you know, 29, 27-story towers, and we're like, where did that come from? And what our goal is really, like, we're still in the process. There is a process, because they have to propose it, they have to, we've gone through, as you can see in this page, there's voting, there's a community board vote, which we've gone through, there's a city planning commission, and so there's a process, and we wanna get community members involved in this, because this is the chance where you guys can have your voice heard in front of the people who are voting on this, not just seeing it when it happens too late and being like, where did this come from? How did this get here? You know, we're really trying to give community members a chance to weigh in on the project while there is an opportunity.
And a couple of quick points for homeowners. The last time in 2016 that a major redevelopment happened in East New York, a lot of what people who owned their homes experienced was people knocking on their door, harassing them into selling their home. And when there's a major development, that happens because people see that, oh, the value of this land has just gone up, so if we buy now, we can buy cheap and sell more expensive later. The other thing is, yeah, like, we don't want people to kind of be kept in the dark, and then all of a sudden there's buildings going up, there's apartments going up that are $3,000 a month that not a lot of people can afford.
So in the process, we are reaching, as you can see, there's been a bunch of steps. The community board of the area, Community Board 5, voted against the project, and they voted no with recommendations. The borough president waived his right, so he basically decided to not make a vote on the project. We have it, yeah, we have it in the next slide. And the city planning commission had their hearing already. Yeah. And so the results of that, they voted mostly yes.
Except for one person.
Out of all the commissioners, one voted no. But you can see that there was a lot of hesitancy, you know, especially with a project like this size. So right now in the process, we are in the public hearing of the city council, which will be this Thursday, November 20th at 11 a.m.
And this is actually also where you have the most amount of power and where your voice counts the most out of this entire process. Those community board votes are not necessarily an actual vote with teeth. It can sway things in a certain direction, especially for the borough president, but it's at the end of the day just a recommendation. The city planning commission, which just voted, they're the first step that really has teeth. Not even the borough president really just can, well, he has a little bit more power than the community board just because he's an elected official, but the city council is where it really, really counts. There's so many people who are going to be hearing about this project for the first time, and when community members are saying the same thing collectively, it's a little bit more difficult to ignore than if everyone is just silent. Afterwards, if that's the case, the argument from them will be, well, no one said they didn't like the project.
So the city council hearing is this Thursday, November 20th at City Hall at 11 a.m. And, you know, we're gonna take a little pause here because we have any questions, any concerns, any comments that anyone wants to make?
Yes, let me go back.
Yes.
Let me go back. that ending for us, or did it end already?
Unfortunately, yeah, that's another campaign, and we'll touch a little bit more upon that.
It ended already?
It didn't.
That's why I'm receiving phone calls.
Yeah. Oh, you guys immediately picked up again.
Yeah.
Well,
Really? Okay.
we'll touch on that in like a different section, but we will address it thoroughly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so,
So we wasn't able to keep that.
no, we actually found out that they have never renewed a zone, so they have different cease and desist. But before we get, let me just finish this. We are, you know, if anyone here is interested, we will be showing up. We have community members that are gonna come testify. If anyone is interested to come to City Hall, you know, we can make arrangements to get you there, and it's important that we have as many community members, there, so. Really quick, I don't know if anyone wants to volunteer to come with us, but if you can't make it, 'cause we know people have work, and we're also, towards the end of this meeting, we're gonna try to work on a testimony that we can still submit written testimony. So we are gonna take some time showing examples of testimonies, and then we can, you know, put one together addressing concerns, you know, just like as community members, you know, my name is Pia and I work in the community, I live in the community. I am concerned about the affordability of this project. I'm concerned, you know, how this is gonna affect my rent, how this is gonna affect my job, how it's gonna affect transportation, something like that. And we're gonna all try to put one together.
So how do we know the statistics of all of this?
The statistics of the project.
Yeah, for us to go there and start begging and like, what is gonna affect us? How do we go there and say, hey, why are we complaining? You know, so we need to know the
Yeah.
facts of why.
Yeah, so I mean, our goal is not necessarily to stop it. It is really to make sure that the project, if it's gonna come to the community, it comes with the most amount of community benefits. So, you know, these are developers that have developed, you know, in different places. We're mostly like downtown Brooklyn, they had a project. You know, they have money and they have the resources to make a lot of stuff happen, especially in this community. So
So how are we gonna help? I mean, you say some strong things about these people. These people seem like they got some
It's
power.
like it's already.
You know what I mean? It's like already set in stone, like, so.
but at the end of the day, you know, your voice, even taking a second, 20 minutes tonight to write something, you know, that's all gonna make a difference in the end. It's public record. Yeah, no. So, this is, you know, what community building is supposed to be about, and really getting your voice out. I don't know if you, yeah, Sarita.
I was just gonna ask, I mean, if there are a couple of like, I'm sure everyone's like free to say, you know, what we want as residents
Right.
about it, but if there's a couple main talking points that you think would be helpful for us to all focus on, or if there's a list, cause it sounds like one of the things is deeper affordability levels. Maybe it would be helpful to know like what they have said or not said about what the
Right.
rents would be, so we can recommend
Work
something
off of that. That's
specific.
right. That's
Right.
Yeah, we can pull up, the recommendations from CV5 that the community board, but we also have like a certain list of topics if you wanna go into it, that.
So, essentially,
And sorry, before, I the only thing I wanted to say was that I, at least from my memory, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, typically these projects, they do get amended before the council votes. I think like what the typical practice is like, even if the city planning commission says yes, these, you know, the recommendations of the community board, the recommendations that coalition members made in testimony before that, whatever the council members pushing for, there's often like these negotiations before they vote on it, so whatever the proposal is actually probably likely to change before the city takes the final vote. So we do have, that's like the chance we have now,
Okay.
is to influence how they change it
Okay.
before the vote. Does that feel accurate?
My question is, when the community vote 5 voted, no with recommendations, at the time, did they know that this hearing was gonna be on Thursday, November 20th?
no.
Because we haven't heard anything at all about this, and this is the first time I'm hearing. We have community board members that would gladly go, but you gotta get out and tell them.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah, they've been postponing the hearing date. We,
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, we had no idea of the date,
Exactly.
so we
Right.
just got the information.
Yeah.
And a lot of what they've done, they have been kind of, shady in some of, like, the community board vote was like on a Friday. Like, it's been a little bit difficult to,
I mean, I think it's more like things just have been, let's put it from our perspective, things have come up very last minute on certain things.
and it's the end of the year,
Yeah.
people are starting to gear up for the holidays, so it's been kind of,
But if you're working together with the community and you heard about it and you have it all printed out and everything, would you reach back out to them and say, listen, it's gonna be on this day? Because, I mean, today I was filling out my calendar and, I have stuff for, for weeks and then to go, and it's getting really difficult to maneuver my time. I do work, and I wanna go to these, things that's gonna make a difference. I don't wanna just go to see a meeting just because of the meeting. But the way I'm understanding if we're gonna go and say something, but it might not mean anything. Is it gonna mean something or is it not?
Better mean something.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I guess
What,
I'll say something. Hello everyone, my name is Joseph Velasquez. Everyone knows me as Joey.
Hey, Joseph.
I'm the social media for the 75th precinct. So what's happening is like November 20th, Thursday, what's going on is the 5 boroughs is coming together and they're gonna be in City Hall steps, and this is where they're gonna have Pix 11 News and other journalists there taking our votes when we're on the steps, just listening to what we have to, explain to the community, and that's what's going on. So like when we come here, we're giving our notes in. It's like if we're doing a petition, we're gathering our voices and we're explaining what we need in our community because we live here. So we have the rights to ask. While the developer has the money and everything else, they can make the changes of what we're asking for. So it does make a difference for us being here and speaking of and how we feel what should be there as we're traveling there and coming to the community.
Yeah, because we got together, they made all of those recommendations in the community board, and, I'm feeling kind of weird that, we did that, we worked on it, we really worked on it a lot of days, and you're saying it's really not that.
I mean, I think one of the things it did have an impact on is the developers do have to take it at least somewhat seriously when the community board makes a recommendation. The vote itself, whether they vote yes or no, doesn't have as much power, but the recommendations do. Because they do have to listen to them. That goes to the city planning commission, that goes to the council member, and so everyone becomes aware of those recommendations. It's just that regardless of whether they vote yes or they vote no, the process moves forward because it's just a recommendation instead of like an actual vote. But yeah,
do you wanna touch upon some of the topics that we're trying to focus on and push for?
yeah, we would really like to kind of push for infrastructure improvements, especially around the Broadway Junction area where the development is going to be. In terms of like, sewage things, especially that's going to be a big issue. We've found that over the last 10 years or so, over the last 10, 15 years, there have been over 12,000 complaints made about the sewage system to 311.
And that's like flooding in the streets, when it
But
rains.
that is an infrastructure because you still have the same size pipes
Yeah,
for an enormous amount of more people.
exactly.
But the pipes, it's not so easy to change,
It's not
Then-
compatible.
even in Gateway.
Yeah.
They went in with the same size pipes, you couldn't put larger pipes in to empty out into something smaller. And that's a problem. And another problem is homeowners and the taxes and, senior citizens with the taxes, you can pay for your home, but you can't pay the taxes.
Yeah, we have something about property taxes as well.
Are they doing any kind of parking with this?
We're asking for parking.
Yeah.
We're not doing, right, that's what.
Yeah,
But-
TV5 also mentioned parking.
results of the propositions that we voted for? All of them passed? What was, I didn't
The
bring this
ballot
stuff with me.
proposals?
The ballot
Yeah,
proposals,
yeah.
okay? They all passed or they didn't? I heard it on the news, but it was
They
like,
all
number
passed.
6 was, something was a no.
Number 6 was a no, that was about moving local elections to align with the federal
Right,
elections. Everything else
But
passed.
everything else passed. But you knew who was doing the commercials. That's why the borough president has nothing to say. He did a commercial to pass all of that. They
It
all
gives
did
him more
commercials
power.
at the last minute. That's why he has nothing to say.
Yeah, it takes.
And he was running unopposed.
Yeah. Not really, actually. He did have a challenger.
Oh. Okay. All right. Did he really? I don't think so.
Do you think we should go into testimony now, or?
Let's quickly go through like the
Okay.
We'll skip the and toxicum flipping outcomes then, but we'll go into cease and desist. So unfortunately, what we found after the fact is that there have been some issues on our end with not really knowing what our metrics were to get the renewal, right? So that makes it difficult for me to go up to people who are in this meeting, for example, and say, hey, we're 50 people away from getting this zone renewed. Can you get like 5 more people to sign up and things like that? But it turns out there has never been a cease and desist renewal, ever. And I think that lack of transparency from the state also had a lot to do with it. Just because they can make up their own rules, if they're not like letting us know, they don't have to renew it. But there have been a lot of cease and desist zones in like the Bronx, Queens. None of them have gotten renewed. There is one in Brooklyn, and they also did not get a renewal. They had to apply for a new zone, and that's also something we're going to have to start working on again.
But who is it?
Yeah.
It's not here, it's somewhere else.
Yeah, CD
Yeah.
17 has it. Community Board 17 area has it.
What part of Brooklyn
Where
is that?
was,
Community Board 17 area.
where is it?
It's in Brooklyn somewhere. Like the exact neighborhoods, but it's the only one standing in all of New York City right now. So,
That's not Brownsville, is it?
no, CB5 is Brownsville.
No, not
We got
I think
Millwood.
CD
It's
16,
East
CD 16.
Flatbush.
East
East
Flatbush.
Flatbush, yeah. Ditmas Village, Rugby, Aramus, and Remsen Village. Yeah, that's where CB 17 is.
Yeah.
Someone knows someone.
No,
Their
they
taxes
have to
are
renew
cheap
it.
too over there.
Hmm?
Their, property taxes are very low. We're like one of the highest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're the highest.
Cause yeah,
And
trying to
theirs
push
is
us
low.
out. They're just
And-
trying to push us out.
And our goal, you know, is we're probably going to have to re-sign
Apply for
everyone
it.
up, you know, we get those petitions up, get the homeowners to re-sign, you know, the form.
The back of it.
Yeah, especially now that you guys are saying
I'm
that,
getting phone calls.
that the
Oh, I
phone calls
just
have
cashed your
started
house.
again.
Sign in the yard?
There's no sign in the yard.
I asked the guy, I said, did you see the sign? And she said, yes. I said, good, I won't have to deal with you, you're a liar.
You know, but, that it already started, and it's just this thing wants to end it, or it's ending soon.
The harassments are definitely starting.
Yeah.
I getting more mail now. I don't trust them when they come in. We're interested in redoing the windows. We just did someone around the corner. I'm like, you're trying to get in the house.
Yeah.
And
No.
it's
There's
scary.
never-
It really
Yeah.
is. I don't trust it. It makes me feel vulnerable and frightened. I'm like, what is going on here? I don't understand. But then Now it makes sense. I'm sorry I wasn't aware of it, and I know I received a phone call not long ago, some months ago. Hey, are you interested in the cease and desist? And I said yes, to renew. But I thought, like you said, I was under the impression that we could renew it, and I didn't hear anything else.
Yeah.
When we started, me personally, I don't know how people feel, but I was much younger. I'm getting older now, and I'm sorry, but the rents are not affordable.
No.
And there aren't any senior citizen, look, except this location here in our neighborhood. Even if you want to downsize, where are we to go?
And the money that you're gonna get from your house is not even enough to go anywhere.
To move anywhere else, so it's,
Well, that's not baby law.
I don't know, but I don't know, I don't know, your taxes are higher than ours, but your taxes pay for the schools, yeah.
very high in Long Island, and what if I wanna stay close, cause I'm still taking care of like my mom, our parents, we're baby boomers, so we're like in between, or children or grandchildren.
But nobody is addressing these taxes with the seniors and what have you. My neighbors sold their house, it was a 4-family. They didn't even change or paint the front door.
Wow.
But what they did do was convert each unit to supply their own heat. My house was built that way. It's a 2-family, but it has separate boiler system downstairs and one upstairs. It's separate, so you have to pay for your own heat. And I guess that's what they're doing now, building it that way so that the landlord can get away. You know, they come in and turn off the heat, they turn up this and that, and it's all on you, but now it's all on them.
Wow.
But that's the only thing they did with those apartments.
And then probably they sold it for, a huge
The
profit,
turnover,
yeah.
the
huge
turnover,
profit.
cause in New York, you're not used to paying for your own heat or your electric heat. You're not used to it. They put in all of these units. They said, oh, those air conditioners, but if you have to put a unit in each, what's the difference between an air conditioner and these big units that they Mr. Slims and all that? What's the difference? Just make the house look ugly with all of this equipment on the outside and what have you.
Well, in my neighbor, her case was that everything is electric. She's been having so much problems because once they flipped the house, she said her bill is astronomical. She had put solar panels. That's an issue now with her. She said, I don't see the difference.
Nobody
went
can
out.
tell you what the difference is with solar. My nephew in Massachusetts, I'm asking him, what are you seeing the difference? He said, Auntie, I really don't know. I said, but you put those panels on your
That's
roof,
not
but you don't
to
know.
its bill?
No.
No.
And a lot of people they have a misconception that when they see free, just like when they see affordable, that's why they voted on it. We need housing, but we have all of this new housing and still homeless people. Why? Because it's not affordable.
I'm a cop. I'm that guy.
Huh?
When I saw that line, that paper said, hey. you
Affordable?
use affordable. So I jumped in it. I decided to get one myself. I got this solar. I'm like so happy. I'm the first one in the neighborhood. Hey, it's Rhapsody. I said, yeah.
How is it?
Same way you were saying, the same discussion we're having, it's the same thing.
And the price of it, the only thing they're giving you is the installation. The city is picking up, or the state is picking up the
You know what
installation.
would work?
It's
What would be good
$60,000.
If you were to buy or get the batteries in relation to the solar system, if you get that, you'll be fine.
What do you mean, the backup?
But you have
The
to,
battery itself.
The
Or
batteries.
if you don't have
but you would have to get someone to install it.
Install.
Precise.
And what's
Precisely.
happening with my solar, we got the solar, everything was supposed to be free and whatnot, and everything was going good. First year came, taxes were taken off. However, they never interfaced with Con Edison, so Con Edison says, you have to pay both bills.
Wow.
So I still do, you have to pay for you're renting the meter. It means like, 18, 20 bucks, but eventually that starts going up.
The whole, the solar panels never work, we never got
Oh, no,
the
mine
return
does.
on it.
Yeah.
They pull in the heat, they do all of it, what they're supposed to do, the end phase looks at it, you can tell the levels. However, it seemed like the company was taking our, energy and selling it to other people.
Oh, excuse me.
So,
Can you prove that?
we're fighting it,
Okay.
we're
That's
fighting it,
interesting. I've never heard of that.
Nikki, Luca, and
Okay, that's
Chris,
interesting.
all of them, they're all, and well,
Huh? From who?
From the solar people,
When did you install?
from in August.
Or recently?
oh, listen.
You
Well,
know,
look
you-
for it. Answer the question. You need to read it out because you don't want to
I've
be
had
having
it since
something
September
big.
2021, and it's been a nightmare.
They have my one too. I got mine too.
Stuff,
And it's
actually,
different
it
companies
was
that's
this,
doing it, so it
nice-
depends on what
nice-
their
nice
contract
server
is.
is who sent those people to my house.
Yes.
And then now when we're having trouble, they pulled away and they said, well, we fired them. Well, gee.
So saying is there something.
It should be in the contract.
Sunco, and they changed their name a couple of times, but now I got them, and they're ATTX. So, yeah. We're having the best.
So-called, we're here to help reduce your energy and look what happened. I didn't have that experience with that, but I feel for
And I
everyone
thought I was
here.
gonna get away, because I have,
It's
sensitive-
beautiful.
I said,
Oh, you have sent
It is a
it.
standard.
Yeah,
It's
however,
standard.
I wish I had sent
sometimes it's done in the
Sell
people say that
your
they're
It's
energy
a
to
problem.
another person should be
And,
illegal. So, I mean, we can do
you know, I was
we can
paying
look
for all
into
that,
that and see how
but
we
then
can maybe build
he
a
just, the
family
guy, one guy
together.
decided he's gonna just turn on the air pump and just leave it on and go for days.
But that's on
So
you and
that was gonna be on me, but now I changed it, and now everybody pays their own.
Okay, so she
Well,
said
I
that
have
they don't
to
talk
So it's like-
Yeah, but, you know, so that sounds like a scam. We're being scammed. Now we got, so they're gonna look into that, they
No, this
probably
is
know
what we
what
wanna
companies
hear,
do.
you know, we wanna hear where the issues are, what, you know, what people feel, where they feel like they're being, you know, wronged in terms of this, and how we can maybe develop
Miss Hodgman,
campaigns
sure.
that at least hold some people accountable, and try to get some sort of, you know, where's the energy that you're making from our is going? And looking into the statistics, how many people have signed up for solar, how is it actually reducing the energy bills, you know?
I could help you with that, because there's one class action suit in Queens, and on my block alone, there's like 5 people that did it because I did it.
And they had the same problem where they never connected the comment? Wow.
I'm sorry you have to deal with that.
The way solar sounds with me, just watching Saturday morning children's program, if you could afford solar, you got your own unit, pay for it outright, and before you know it, you using this energy and it's recirculating, and now you're selling it because your thing is zero, and they're buying your solar, and you know they're using your energy because you're down to 0 or something. I said, but putting these panels out, and you would see your panels in the ground, not even up in the air, it's in the ground. But I guess you would have to have enough light. It didn't seem feasible for the city. And some of these things they putting up on stilts, the solars on the stilts, and
Or flat roofs, they put it on stilts,
horrible looking. Horrible looking. At least the ones flat on your building. But we're in the northeast. We have bad weather, northeasters. So what's gonna happen when that thing shakes
Yeah, when it
and
falls,
comes down?
like who
Because it's
could
so
be
high
hurt?
up in the
you
air
know?
on the flat roofs.
I have a flat roof, and it's flat on my roof.
It's flat. You have a
Well, yeah.
no. You have the slanted
No,
roof.
it's not, it's considered a flat.
Flat roof. Okay.
And it's, there I have like 13 panels up there. And, even when it's cloudy, because my building is tall.
Okay.
It's a 2-family, it's a duplex over one.
Right.
But
That's what I
It's pretty
have.
tall. And on that side of the street, but the other side of the street, now they wanna put a really high building, so that's gonna put a shadow. So I don't know how that's gonna
Those
affect
the
it.
shadows, right?
Yeah.
That
Exactly.
sucks.
What I wanted to know also, to find
I
out,
had to discuss that.
like, will we have problems, or they will have problems if they decide to sell the house? I don't know if that person, I mean, would it affect the sale of your house, having the panels? And they have to know
Well,
that they
having-
have to pay 2 bills instead of 1.
it may not happen to them. It may be something with us, with some particularly some code. But, putting the panels actually, raise the value of your house, otherwise you gotta pay more taxes. So, I'm learning.
This is you are, very good, very good.
So it sounds like there's a problem with the converter box, because you have the panels that is bringing in electricity, you gotta have the backup batteries. Now, your regular electricity that's coming from Con Edison or whoever, there's supposed to be a cutoff switch.
It's supposed to be a
Yes, from the community, from the board itself, so we should figure out if they can have a better switch so we can actually shut off ourselves manually from the power coming into the street and we're working off the batteries and see what's the difference, because we shouldn't be charged from 2 different places and it makes no sense. That's my understanding.
The way it works in New York City is that like this is the way we have them on our houses, the way they explain it is like nobody's solar panels really actually power your own home. The panels, they track how much energy you're generating, and then if you are putting more into the grid than you are using, you bank that.
That's right.
But so like, I don't think anybody really has batteries, because that's like based on the idea that you are using what you generate. I think it's more like they keep track of what you generate, and if that is, if it's equal to what you use, then your bill should be 0, except for the supply charge or whatever. But so I don't know about that battery question exactly. If that's like what they.
And me, they wanted to give it to me, but I said 2 family, and they says, no, it has to be a 1 family. And what happened, but see now, you have a 2 family and what happened, but it was like, too many.
Everybody has
But they are supposed to. I mean, like the whole thing is that it's supposed to connect it to the grid. I can't believe they didn't do your connection.
They wouldn't do it, and Con Edison wouldn't come out and do it because it's not their equipment.
Wow.
So, and they would actually be the ones to tell me how to track the whole thing and
Yeah.
figure out, how much I'm doing. And they helped me, they sent me a lot of information so that I could do the comparison, so I know how much energy I was collecting,
Right.
and I know how much, we were using.
Yeah.
And we were using much less than what we were collecting,
Yeah.
but now where's the collected
Right.
energy?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. They're supposed to be banking that, and then the months where, like in the winter when you're not generating as much,
You
then you have like credit.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
that's true.
Anyway.
All right,
Get back to
no,
your
this
topic.
is great, and we took notes. We'll look into that. Maybe we'll have to do like a presentation to kind of understand a little bit of how solar works, and so that way, we don't want homeowners in the area to get scammed, and then put in time, energy, money, and then not be reaping the benefits of this. So I'm happy we brought this up.
And also real quick, I just wanna say, like she said, how do you, protect yourself when these companies are saying, hey, we're no longer in business, or we fired these people, like, what's the duration? That's unfair, that's a scam, you're changing constantly. So
Well-
she has to deal with the frustration about, like, who do I contact now? That's frustrating.
Well, I
That's
contacted Chris Banks, contacted Nikki Luca, I contacted Mr. Starr. It's just been going around and around. And the thing is that it was NYSERDA, which is supposed to be for the homeowners, the community and stuff like that, and they're the ones that hide. And they backed out and ran away and disappeared. The people who I was talking to before, they was like, oh, well, we fired them. I said, so you fired them, but you never put it out there, and you allowed them to come into our homes after you fired them,
Wow.
because you never put it out that,
Yeah.
so, that's the same thing that's happening here. If something or some kind of mechanism is not there to tell somebody what's happening by tomorrow, if you find out today, you need to tell them by tomorrow, or else people are gonna get screwed.
Yeah, and my other question is too, how come this borough president, I'm sorry, I don't have a lot of experience with the coalition, I feel like I'm newly here, although I was here years ago, but I don't recall, because a lot of changes came about. I don't know if this borough president has any type of say-so or whatever, with this pilot program for our basements. Remember the pilot
Oh,
program?
they stopped it.
Yeah, they stopped it for a while,
Yeah,
they
it's too
kept
high.
looking
This
into
is the
it.
second time.
The people in control of that are the state level elected officials. Julia Salazar actually does have a bill, or did, to try and get East New York included, but something happened with Hochul during like that budget.
But didn't they say
It's
that a
crazy,
lot of
right?
people didn't go into the program, and that's why it faltered, because when you look at it, a lot of people had illegal basements, and they wasn't giving up that rent for these people to come in and convert it legally.
Right.
They were getting away with it, and so they left it alone.
I think a lot of people also applied and didn't get, like, yeah, I think it was maybe there were some people, a lot of people that didn't apply, and the people that applied, I think it was hard to get through, but that was,
Yeah.
because the pilot was in East New York, right?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
It wasn't East New
It
York,
wasn't
and,
They
I was
said
at
that,
that
they said that,
But I
they
gotta
were
go.
going to try to reconstruct it also, so that for flooding, to make sure the pipes were gonna be wider, to help us also. And also, like you said, it was a lot of red tape. And the ones that did it said their taxes went up tremendously, because it was
Of course.
considered a two-family home.
Right. Of course.
That's what baffled my mind. I'm like, how? It's still sub-basement. It's still sub-level. So that was hard, and I feel like we still being out in the cold. And I'm sorry, this Julia Salazar, I haven't never ever seen her before. I don't even see her. That has nothing to do with you coming our neighborhood to speak about matters
She's been
like
out.
this. I haven't seen her.
Yeah, she's been out.
When? Where?
They changed my district, but
Oh.
she's not me anymore.
Oh,
Sandy Nurse was me,
yeah.
and now I have Chris Banks.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so they flipped it, right, they flipped it, but I could call her office and get results and what have you.
Okay.
And her office in Brooklyn is good, you need to call them.
I do need to
Really?
call her because I need some, I don't know.
Relief.
I need some relief, I need some help. It's like we're facing a lot in our neighborhood. Besides these taxes and these things, these programs are being introduced and then they snatch them away.
Well, the first time that it came to our neighborhood, it was with the Blasio and his wife, and a lot of people did not sign up for it, and so it got defunded. So now this time when it came, we were excluded.
Right, they're
From
trying to
another area.
yeah.
They excluded us from East New York, and then Prasad put in something. I don't know what stopped her, but something stopped her along the way. But she put it in that we would also be again included. But I don't know what happened.
But once I was feel, I could see them that they're not interested, but, or whatever. But they said it wasn't enough people that applied
Only
for
9
that.
people.
But when I said, but you go up and down your block, and you know, those are illegal units, but they're not gonna give them up or put the people out so to make it legal, you know. Cause some of them are cellars, and the cellar is below ground. But it's, most cellars have a front and a back entrance.
Yes. I don't know. I was just concerned about that, cause I'm like, okay, so how are we to, help ourselves, you know, these programs, I just feel they're not around long enough. Or they don't reach
We
out
don't-
to the community
Like, we
the
don't
way it
give
should be. You
We
know,
don't
to
get
let
the
us
right
know, so when the
knowledge.
programs are there, we're not aware of it, and, people, I don't know, our rents are very high, they're raising the rents in our neighborhoods. And our children, our grown children cannot move out because they can't afford,
Tell me about it.
okay? And it's a shame, and I feel
My
bad for
daughter's
them
a
because
teacher in the Board of Education. She's a teacher and she has a decent salary. She can't afford it.
my
No,
daughter's
But
a
she
teacher.
says she can't.
She can't afford it.
No, she really can't afford it, but, you know,
They can't afford it, they can't afford it, they can't afford their medical now is going up. They don't have children, they're like, no way, I can't have a child now, they don't have a family. It's making them mentally like my son said, Mom, we didn't have the opportunities like you would have when we were younger to become homeowners. They can't even afford an apartment, let alone buy one. I used to tell them, can you buy one? They were like, I can't believe it. And there's student debt. You know, we push our children so much for the education, but didn't realize that it was gonna be such a big downfall. It doesn't matter what career they have.
And some of them, they think differently than we do too, because we had to get out and work and do things, whether we wanted that job or like that job, it paid the bills, and we had a family to take care of. These young folks, they're free spirits. They're doing their own thing. And what have you, what's, why did they want to be out? I don't think so.
I wish my basement was like suitable. I can't afford to put fix the basement on myself, and all the bills is on me. They're on me, and I'm like, everything's going on. You know, they say, well, I'm getting older now. It's not getting any easier.
We need some relief with those taxes in these times.
Yes.
But somebody said they came down Atlantic Avenue and one of the units was $1 million.
Yes.
What?
Yes. Yes. The houses where I live, $1 million. Someone bought a house behind, $250,000. He put it for $900,000.
Wow.
Flipped it, $900,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what we're.
And
I'll
real
tax it,
estate
I'll tax it.
agents,
Yeah,
even
we're
if
fighting
you don't
against-
buy it, a
that's-
real estate agent will sell it to another real estate, and that's how it goes up and up and up, and what happened, oh, it's horrible.
Yeah, that's also one of our campaigns, the End Toxic on Flipping Up, which actually addresses that, like, exactly.
Yeah, in my neighborhood, in my block, or behind me, about 4 houses, 1.4 million, 1.2. I'm like,
And your taxes are going
and my
up.
taxes went up.
Going up.
Yes, sir, yeah.
That's why I use my Facebook to complain for my neighborhood, because I did a petition back in 2017. Everything you guys said is good. My block is basically music problems, so that's what's driving the people to move out of the neighborhood. The way they hang out with the business, with the house parties. So since I did the petition, I explained to everybody, put up security cameras with the evidence to explain what's going on. What's driving you out to move out the neighborhood? What's taking your parking? Why are you having so much clutter with like littering from cab services or people hanging out in their vehicles? They're giving like a block in the corner, like a joke spot to hang out with homeless and everything else. So what I do is I mainly complain on Facebook and I say everything what's going on, and they leave the area slowly. But the main concern was the businesses having the parties with the house party. So if one gets a complaint, they drop it to somebody else. So I figured everything out. It's been quiet for the last 2 years. It took me a while, but I've been doing it since 2017. So I let them party, have their fun, but I always had the video cameras recording to make a documentation. So if they ever wanted to complain, go against the neighbors, they couldn't do it to me because I had the evidence.
Right.
And I've been keeping some of my neighbors, the ones that did move out, it was already too late for them because they had enough. So by me making social media videos, it's been making a big difference because now from Crescent to Cleveland, they all listen to me. So now they keep their music down, they're respectful because anybody with a camera can speak up. And the people that are doing the crimes, they're afraid of the camera to be seen. And that's what I've been trying to help people come to the meetings, use their voice. You don't have to be afraid if somebody has the bigger group of party or the bigger group of families. That's not how it goes in the neighborhood. You respect one another, like Mayor Eric Adams explained, 80 to 85 decibels. That's how loud it should be, not over that mark. Not that they're playing music past 6, 8, 12 hours. It should be a minimum of 4 hours your party, and that's it. It's not a block party. They're not coming to community meetings, so they don't have that right to, bother anybody, bully anybody. So basically, I'm the bully of Facebook against everybody else, but they all listen to me and they all respect what I said because they knew me ever since I was a kid, very quiet, and I maintained the whole block of the sidewalk. So I control that 4-block radius. So everybody's situation is different. It's just that we got to get more social medias. We got to start using our camera phone, start catching these events, and start bringing it to the meeting, and we can explain a little bit more and use them and come together. This is the only way.
Let me tell you, I have this guy that's going around stealing packages.
Yes.
I have cameras, I have 3 cameras in my building. Why is not stopping them guys, man?
No, you got to spread it with the neighborhood.
They took my neighbor's package.
I had the same problem.
In front of him. He was downstairs cleaning his car, and the guy went upstairs, took his package, and said, I'm out here, and just left. So my neighbor came to me and said, did you see somebody from up on my stairs? I said, no, I didn't. I said, I'm glad you didn't see him and approached him. Because just the other day, on the news, they found a superintendent died
Yes.
Oh, yeah, he was.
because he tried to stop someone from
Right.
stealing packages.
But they said it wasn't.
That wasn't
that-
true?
No, the guy was visiting somebody in the building because they took him in. They got into a fight. He kept hitting him in the head with his phone. But the super went back to his apartment, took a shower or something or whatever, and he refused medical aid first. He was getting hit in the head. He refused medical aid, and they had the guy. But when the story came out, he was visiting somebody. He wasn't stealing any packages. So the super approached him and what have you, and it's unfortunate that he died, but he refused, they sent for an ambulance, he refused medical aid, went and took a shower, and collapsed after that.
Interesting.
So you had bruising of the brain and
Yeah,
maybe something
probably.
popped, and that was it, like a hemorrhage.
Medical examiner would be able to determine, but the initial report was that he was, but I'm saying, they're taking pictures of this. Did anybody try to hit the guy in the head with a phone to stop him? You know, you just taking pictures and saying stop him as opposed to pulling, separating them or whatever.
So it's documented he's getting assaulted.
I'm glad that my neighbor didn't try to stop the guy.
Yeah.
I didn't see him.
I have a lot
You
there.
know?
My sister lives in Brownsville.
Cause it's scary. That's what's happening.
And she
A lot of-
sent
That's the next thing that we
her
have to talk about.
packages to me because I have a lock gate and the fences starts at 5 feet.
You know, I don't know, as far as my packages go, when I first moved to East New York, they were taking, it was just a.
Yeah, and they're still doing it.
But I got
Blatantly.
cameras around, and then I also talked to the police, and then I talked to the mail people, they have their own codes, so they can just throw the stuff inside.
Right.
They come to the camera, they're in their face.
I have the pictures,
I'm taking
and I
pictures.
gave them to the 75th precinct, every time somebody comes, and they, they were taking the thing, I had the pictures. So, we had to come up with something else, or maybe, I have cameras everywhere, you can't come over by me. But what happened with that now, another issue, the police know that the cameras are there, they come bang on my door, open the door.
Something happened.
And they take my phone, and they go through my phone, and then they go
So
through
not
my.
another block.
Yeah, because they run from like Belmont down to Pitkin and Dasha, and then they don't know which direction, so my camera tells them which direction.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, it's good and
I don't have
bad.
any
But
cameras.
I'm involved, I'm really,
Yeah.
really.
So should I sit on
But
that?
they hear from me all the time, I'm always on the
If we
phone,
can
people are like, oh my
Get
God.
a little bit more focused. I really
Because I go from
appreciate
one
it.
thing to the
Yeah.
other.
We're going to have a brainstorming session about the kinds of housing campaigns that would make a difference in New York. I think we were going to do that. I think we should focus on the testimony instead. So there's a part of the slides that says testimony time or activity time. And
My thing also that I wanted to say too, that since they're building all these buildings, especially they wait until all those buildings on Atlantic Avenue, we don't have a lot of green space left that we used to have. I don't know what they're doing, and green, I believe that we're one of the few neighborhoods around this area that have greenery. Cause I remember one day I was in White Oak Hospital years ago, I'm like, where are the trees? And I see them from way in White Oak Hospital, I'm like, oh, that's where I live, over there. It's New York, Cypress Hills, out of the trees. Didn't see them, and then all of a sudden, I don't see them as much as before. How do we, trees are vital to our health, clean our space, like our mental health, have less sunlight with the buildings going up so high. My mom lives downtown Brooklyn. I'm looking around, I feel like I'm in the city, Manhattan. And my mom said, they're pushing us out. I'm like, we're not leaving where you at. You're gonna stay there because you cannot put her in anywhere else. She lives in housing. But where she's surrounded by is Brownstone Bay and all these high towers. She's like, but they're there's no place, that's what my fear is too. Our affordability of going to the deli, get your coffee or your bread, we still do that, we don't have that. Even, even the stores are changing the products that they're buying, you know, that they sell, which are not always the healthiest. Oh no, this is the name brand, who's requesting this? That's what I want to know, like, who's requesting these items? Yeah, and also, how are we to involve our small businesses with these type of issues too, you know? Because I never hear anything about the small businesses. Fulton Street, it's like from here all the way down to, what's that, Elvis Lane?
75th Elders,
But
yes.
they have some.
They have
They have
something.
something, yeah.
Okay, are they being involved in this? Are they being reached out to also say anything, or do they have anything to?
Not in their lane, but go to their meetings though. The same way we did.
They-
All right, I'm gonna go to their
I'm just saying, yeah, I'm not being facetious there.
No, I like.
You would have to go with it, because unless you know you have to be proactive.
Mhm.
Just like coming to this meeting is being proactive
Right.
instead of being reactive. So when they have their, 127 with Pennsylvania Avenue,
Okay.
and but they can tell you or ask, you know,
The
Our
community
leaders,
board,
yeah.
when they
Thank you.
have their meeting.
because they have something like you mentioned, the Fulton Street, they have a district,
The business.
yeah.
They have a,
Business district?
I never been to a meeting in here. I mean, I'm not a business owner, but we do support our small
Exactly.
businesses here. We want them around here, we need them here, okay? And this is what I'm saying, the affordability, this is probably expensive for them too. So that means we can't support their business. They're gonna have to close their business because if our property's going up, I'm pretty sure food is the cost of
Well,
living
they're not,
is expensive.
but they're not closing. Look at Atlantic Avenue on our end, and Atlantic Avenue going in opposite directions. More people coming in who can afford $3,000 rent, so they can afford a $6 bagel, plain bagel with butter.
But with those landlords.
I'm just saying in general, because you gotta get it.
With those landlords, they don't really care because what usually happens, person takes that unit and roommates, they get roommates and what have you.
I just wanna point out we have 14 minutes left in the day, and we really do wanna get through the testimonies.
Okay.
I think that's like, a big part of why we ask people to come today. So some of the things that we are trying to get people to write testimonies on are things that they see the need for improvement in terms of the infrastructure upgrades that East New York needs. We've got some testimony on water and sewage stuff. Some of the other things that will be impacted include the fact that Broadway Junction is going to see 1,000 extra riders. What are they going to do to mitigate that? There's also data that we found about the schools in the area. The closest school to the Broadway Junction area where the project will be developed is a 12-minute walk away, but then the rest are all 16 minutes to almost 50 minutes away from Broadway Junction by walking. So those are also just like elementary and intermediate schools, so middle schools. So we're also calling for the city to build another middle school in the area that's within the 15-minute walking distance. We also are calling for the residential units that they're building to be within the ELA term sheets, which is a specific kind of term sheet which dictates an actually affordable kind of range of rents for a development.
But they're not talking about what's affordable, right? They're not giving you a range, a figure, they're just using the word affordable.
They did give us a range. It was, we are fighting for them to make it more affordable than it is right now. And also, just to make things transparent, this is based off what they last gave to the public, this information. Right now, like, Cypress Hills Local Development Corporation is in the middle of community benefits agreement negotiations with the developer. And one of the things that means is that things are constantly changing. in terms of what they're giving us and what they're not giving us. So, I think the thing that we really wanna fight for if we're concerned about affordability is just make sure that the rental units are actually affordable to the people who already live here as well. We're not saying all the units have to be catered to a specific range, but there should be those people who make that amount of money, which there are a lot of needs that are kept in mind.
Another thing that CB5 was pushing for, that we also are pushing for, is homeownership. So this is a big thing. Affordable below market rental space for small businesses, community parking, public maintenance of the plazas, and general upkeep around like the Broadway Junction area.
Within like a mile of the development.
Reducing commercial space, so for like, instead of having Target or like some big, like box, we can make it smaller and have it more affordable local businesses in there. So a lot of those are the community recommendations, CB5 recommendations, and we're obviously pushing for them as well. And from there, we'd like to, you could see that there is an example in the next, between these two pages, we can kind of develop an idea of what a testimony would look like and how we can kind of form, there isn't necessarily, like you could use this as a template and then we can kind of like help. There isn't, there isn't like necessarily a right or wrong answer, it's more of just like a community insight on what you are concerned about and how something this big can change the cost of living, the price of living, like you're saying, in the stores, things will go up as well, road prices. So we really just wanna make sure that we can collect as many testimonies as possible from community members so that when we present it to, on to the hearing, we have real voices.
When do you
And
need
guys-
this by?
Yes.
Wednesday would be very, very nice. Before Wednesday
This
would be,
Wednesday.
yeah, before Wednesday would be even better.
So how would you get it? I mean, how would
Can we
you-
email it to you?
Yeah, you can email it to me.
Okay, just,
Yeah.
I'm gonna need.
Do we-
okay.
you guys wanna, you can jot it down, her email on your paper. We also would carve out some time if you wanna do it now.
Yeah.
We don't wanna
Right now,
rush
it's like a
it.
good time to start writing, that's why we've got like the paper.
See, that's the thing, I don't have a glasses with me, and I don't wanna give you a quick draft,
Yeah.
and I wanna keep it professional with you guys, what it is.
Yeah, and again, I'll also have like a third pair of eyes on it, just to like bulk things up, make sure things flow, and add data and research and things like that.
Okay.
And
So what is your email though?
Hailey, Hailey, K at cypresshills.org.
KF,
K,
just letter K?
yeah,
At.
Hailey K at
Okay.
cypresshills.org.
Do anyone, or is it, think about what about our safety? I mean, all this congestion
Yeah.
with the pedestrian, with the people and their, congestion on the roads. They're not going to change out the streets, the parking is really hard around here.
Well, the city, they don't want you to have a car, they want you to get rid of your car, that's why the bicycle lanes are there. So, when they cast whatever bill the last time, these places are required to establish a parking area. Before you had to establish parking, now you don't. So now, but I thought the buildings was gonna be higher, like 30-something stories.
That plan was, I
That
saw
was
it.
for something else. Grove
Yeah.
Junction, right?
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Can't do Broadway Junction. I know in my area, they took over 200 parking spaces from Falcon. So now they're all parked on my little teeny street. And then people are trying to double park on the teeny street, so the only thing they can get through there is a bike.
Where's that at? I'm
I-
curious.
Fountain, between Pitkin and, not Pitkin, Sutter, and what is that, Linden Boulevard? That whole area, they took like 200 parking spaces.
Yeah, they, the other day, or Saturday or something, I was going down Fountain, all those cars had tickets.
Mm.
If you going down Fountain, like after 218, going
Mhm.
straight down, going across Linden Boulevard, every car had a ticket. Every car had a
And
ticket.
then they block it, they also block, the people who have houses and they have, driveways.
Yeah.
It's also being blocked by those bikes. So, there's no, they can't park over there, so they try to, they try to park everywhere.
So besides the cons, what are the pros as far as, jobs? Are they bringing jobs? Are you guys talking about?
They're bringing jobs, we're hoping they commit to local hire and procurement, right? So making sure that those jobs actually go to East New Yorkers,
Right.
at least 50% of them.
And you guys also mentioned, one day, big buildings like the Targets, like the Walmart. I'm like, those guys are doing big jobs. Y'all can do. But you guys looking for moms and pops, right?
Yes, we are. And
Jobs as far as the construction sites.
I was gonna get to
there,
that.
yes, but
Big
also
five.
hopefully, we are asking for 50% local hire on all jobs generated by the development. That also means like building maintenance, any of the jobs that come into the office spaces that they're trying to build. That also has to be 50% local hire.
With the construction.
Yeah.
it
We
will
gotta
be
do that.
Careers.
No, but yeah, we gotta run up on them because right on my corner, something I should have bought as a child or when I came back from school, corner of Berman and New Lots, is nobody but about this tall working. And I'm 6'2", and I'm not being racist. Nobody but this tall working. They're brown, but no black people. And I ran up on the Jewish guy. That might have to mute that. But I ran up on him, and I just said, "We're the brothers." And he was like, "Call the sign." I was like, "Don't." I told him like, "Don't." But then I felt myself. I'm not tough now or nothing. I have no record, but I felt myself going there, and I walked away. But I think that's on us. And I was told, I want to say the name, but speak to an organization right in the area, off of Linden Boulevard. Like speak to them because like you said, when the building's built, we want the jobs, but we want to be involved, like you said, with guys who
With a
got
career,
OSHA.
as opposed
Yeah,
to,
well,
you get the job, but it works into a career because they're giving you that certain training and what have
Yeah.
you, that you can take anywhere. It's not
Yeah.
just a job for here, and when this site closes down, then. you're
exactly,
looking for
because
another
they
one.
have that experience there, or they get to get in the union, because
The
again,
unions and what have you.
127 Pennsylvania Avenue, I keep saying that address, there was a guy, when I was going to those meetings, was bringing people in, electrician apprenticeship and stuff like that, like
Right.
$20 an hour, but that's where we have to speak up, because all these places here, and I'm not one to say, I'm gonna call ICE, but it's looking kind of shady. You know what I mean? I'm just being straight up. It's looking kind of shady. Nobody's 4'8". Everybody pull a little cart. They all inside. You can't see anybody. I'm born and raised here. I got a little bit of game. I'm not no tough guy. My parents raised me right, but it's obvious. Like even beside getting the job, once the building is done or building maintenance or whatever, we have to. But let's get this testimony. But you gotta stop your car and be like, yo, where the brothers at? And I told them that I didn't stay on them because I turned around again. The building's even higher now. They working constantly. But that's all the places. Just pull over and say something, or speak to the people and man up. I'm just gonna say it or Barron's not there anymore. But those jobs, like people with OSHA or whatever. And anyway, I'll get to it. Just hold me to it. I'm on tape for it. And Haley knows how to reach me.
So Haley, I'm sorry, sir. So Haley, most of the testimony that is on here is not what we're gonna repeat, because basically, what I wanna mention is already on here, you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, this is a example of
Right,
something
right.
that I wrote, but like we want to get the local, your as a local resident,
Put a twist on it.
I've lived
let's solve
here.
that one.
I've lived here, X amount of years. I've seen the neighborhood transform.
Okay.
You know, we want it to feel personal, and we want it to, you know, be your experience.
Gotcha.
This is just an example. You can like read over about like something that, you know, might affect all of us which is the fear of speculation and having the cost of living. But, you know, like we said, if you're more concerned with making sure that locals are being hired in development, or if you're more concerned about safety and you want to make sure that like the area is safe, that you can, you know, walk with your kids at night, and there's an increase, you know, not only in police, but like fire services or medical services or hospitals that you can call. So everyone kind of has their own experience and their own concerns, and we don't want every testimony to be the same, but that's why I kind of just put a little example.
I
So
understand. Makes
yeah.
sense.
Yeah, because my thing with the safety, my concern is the response time when you do need them.
Yeah.
I mean, where I live, you're constantly hearing the first responders. I welcome that. If some people it annoys them, I welcome that because I'm like, okay, someone needs help, and if I need help, fine. But is the response time gonna be longer now that we're going to have all these
Yeah.
people in our neighborhood? They're not, are they hiring more police? Are they going to hire, open up more, fire, you know,
Are they supposed to have like a
responders,
police precinct
EMA?
right inside of that East New York, where East New York and one of the other buildings also, they're gonna add more police over there?
That's transit, but we're
But you
saying
got-
city.
I was gonna say,
we're talking about.
because we have the
Yeah.
police council
the
meetings.
police
You
department.
got what?
Police council meetings. We have the police council meetings in different areas, like the 75th precinct. We have it the first week of the month. So when you
Yeah,
come
I
there, you
used to
can
go
talk
to that.
with the officers and get the information, and they can work with you privately. You don't have to do it publicly, and they can bring the officers when you need them, or especially when a crime is happening. They can have officers come around and check, issue the summonses, make the arrest. As long as you have video recording like what I do, it will make a bigger difference.
But there's a difference between the transit that's there, they deal more with transit.
Yes.
Then the city deals with the city, and then housing is another. So I'm saying, so the ratio of people that are coming. Also, where I live,
That could go
I have-
ahead. That's a good, that's a real
I
good
have
point.
been
That
some-
could go
right,
ahead.
just
That's a
some-
real good
so you
point.
don't
yeah,
forget it.
That's a real
so the
good point,
ratio
yeah.
is not good, and also, where I live, okay, I have vital, how do you say, locations, social security offices there, I don't want that moved. You know, if I don't have, if it doesn't, because plenty of people live there, go there. The banks, we have 2 banks, 3 now.
Are you talking Fulton?
Yes. You know, that's a vital. We have our supermarkets. You know, like it's near the train, it's near the bus. Not everyone can drive or whatever. I mean, those are locations that I've seen, like downtown Brooklyn, when they developed, they moved all those offices around much, much further away.
But
People
those
really
are-
have to
some of those
travel.
offices are coming, if they get this the way they want it, the city is gonna be renting out some of the space in Broadway Junction.
Maybe banks or something like
Yeah, but
that.
then that's
No,
more
not offices,
people
more
coming, transit.
But what about the pollution? The bus
Yes,
terminal
yeah,
is
that's
there,
another.
and that's congested.
That's
The
right.
construction they was doing last year, I don't know what that was about, but you just sat.
Yeah, so that's another thing that the developers
Okay.
themselves admit. Like in their draft environmental impact studies, not the final one, they did find that there was a possibility that a pollutant called PM 2.5 could be increased to an unsafe level.
For that, right?
No, it's,
No,
I think
for
it's like
what?
an air pollutant that comes from like a lot of cars being around, basically. Oh, like the main source of it apparently is like car exhaust.
So what is it? If they said 2.5, it must be
It was
10.5.
No,
Yeah,
PM
but-
2.5 is the
yeah.
name of the
Oh, okay, but whatever it is, it's gonna be high. If they even mentioned it, it's gonna be high. But everything you said needs to go right there. You're right about, you know, how everything's changing, and like you said about changing the you know, changing the testimony of it beside what's written right here, because you made some real good points.
Oh, thank you. If I could remember them.
See, that's right, that's my problem too. Don't
And
feel
yeah,
bad.
clean the
Don't
thing, and
feel
another
bad.
thing, I don't know if people are
Transit.
suffering from this, but I don't know if it has to do with anything, cause they said that this overdevelopment is also causing a lot of rodents, and we're having some raccoon problems in our neighborhood that is
That's
crazy.
That's
Yes.
coming from
And
Gateway,
Possum.
that's coming from Gateway side, because they, you know, all this stuff, they build those animals
They
don't
build
have
them
anywhere to
around
go.
here.
And the
They
trash.
don't
They come in,
Like
they live
how-
in my tree, you know?
They destroyed
It's
a
a
lot of
regular zoo.
And when I try to call about that issue, and they say, oh, we don't fund that anymore.
I have family, I have family raccoons.
I had an issue like that.
I had an
15
issue
years
like
ago.
that, and you're like, okay, so they gave us the trash cans, but that doesn't stop others from, when you have more people, yes, it will cause the streets to be not as clean as we wish them to be.
But
I'm
that's
sorry.
us. The streets being dirty is
I'm saying it's
us.
well, as
Right.
more people move in, I don't know how
'Cause they
clean it
just-
will be.
No, but what I did was 15 years ago when Raphael was in office, I went around the whole neighborhood at nighttime just watching them come out. And they always said they came from the cemetery or Highland Park.
Yeah,
And I said, no, it's coming from people's buildings or where they live, from the attics and the basement walls.
yeah.
So I did the survey, so I was able to remove 22 raccoons and 19 possums. But that was only because Petland and Liberty was there. You normally call them, you give them your cage, you give you back your cage. I don't know what they did with the animals, as long as they took them out of the neighborhood, and that's how I decreased it. But since my neighborhood is a Spanish area, and a lot of people moving out because of the music, and we're having more Spanish that don't respect anybody, you have an increasing of raccoons, because it's how they party and hang out. If they don't use the containers, all the trash is everywhere. So where does the rodents come out? They come out about 7:30 at night, like right now, 7:30 to 8:30. They run around. By 4:30 in the morning to 5:30 as it's getting light, that's when they start going back into the nest. Normally I'll stay outside at that time just to watch which houses they go in, and I would tell the landlord, listen, you gotta patch this up, you got rodents coming in. And that's how I normally solve the problem with that.
Yes, but I'm saying in general, everyone thinks that a child is that litters. But you have grown folks that come from these stores and they just drop everything. And no matter,
Walking to the
even if
train
you want, so
station.
even
When
more
they walk
people,
from
this
the
is what
train,
I'm saying,
like
just
usually
more
they walk
people.
around one and they just drop the
They
stuff.
drop,
And
leave a
there
banana
was-
on the way to
there
the
are
train
garbage
station
bins
and throw
there.
it. Oh,
There are garbage bins there.
Yeah.
There's no reason for them,
No
why even
reason,
bring
just
that
nasty.
out of the subway?
Yeah, we don't
Just-
have our garbage
they just come in
bins
and
on the Fulton Street like we
And
used
when
to
wind
in each
blows,
corner.
I
They
get it.
getting rid of them. I don't know why. They're not replacing the garbage bins in the business areas like they used to. A lot of them, you have to skip blocks and we're like, what's going on with the corner? We have to complain about it.
so they want the businesses
They
to
have to
put
put
those
those
bins,
on.
but the.
Those are not affordable to a lot of them, or their space is so
But the
small.
space, yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
what's happening
But we're
with
seeing the
Fulton?
corner ones.
It looked like the ladies wanna talk to you guys, but you guys kept talking.
Like,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
It looked like she kept saying,
She says,
guys,
write your stuff down. Haley,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
we,
send you.
we just want to wrap it up a little bit. You guys had some really good things coming down. Hopefully you wrote them down. We will be in touch with you and see if you.
Okay.
Did
You said you
everyone
had
sign
a particular list that you,
That we're kind of, we're really going by a lot of the CP5 recommendations. We can
okay,
send
so
them
I
to
think I have that.
Yeah, if anything, we can send them to you.
Yeah, if I- could you send that to me?
Yeah,
I'll
we
give
could,
you
we could.
my email, so that way I can find it quickly, and then I'll send you some.
We will,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because I don't know, you know, I have my issues, but I don't,
I wish I would have just recorded you, cause you had it, you really were very powerful. Oh, yeah.
Is it? My name is Joseph Brooklyn Guy. I'll be posting it.
oh my gosh, really?
I'm on
I'm
Facebook.
not on Facebook, so I wasn't prepared for
Oh.
that.
Like I tell a lot of people, create
We
them.
don't need it for, you
Just
need
post
it,
it.
yeah.
So you can see it. You don't have to comment. Just go to the videos and learn what's happening. What I'm doing for Cypress, New York, and New York, and when I go to City Hall.